Her birthday had always been her favorite day of the year. She loved the attention, the laughter, the spotlight. And every year, I made sure she had all of it. Flowers on her desk, dinner at her favorite restaurant, and a wrap surprise waiting when she got home. For 7 years, that was our tradition. But that year, I couldn't bring myself to celebrate a lie. We sat at the same table as always, the corner booth with dim lights and candles flickering gently. She wore that blue dress I once told her made her look like the ocean at sunset. She smiled at me, eyes searching. "Why so quiet?" She laughed softly. "You look lost somewhere." And she was right. I was somewhere else. Somewhere between disbelief and disgust. 2 nights earlier, I'd seen her car parked outside a small, expensive hotel on the west side of town. The kind of place people go when they don't want to be found. I told myself there had to be a reason. A friend, a meeting, anything. But what my heart already knew. Then I saw him walk out, 15 minutes before she did, wearing the same jacket he'd worn to our housewarming last month. His name was Mark. My friend. My brother in all but blood. We'd gone to college together. Shared beers, memories, and dreams. I'd even been his best man. And now, apparently, he'd been hers too. I didn't confront her right away. I spent 2 long days replaying every detail of our life. The cold distance, the work trips, the late-night texts brushed off with a smile. All those missing puzzle pieces finally locked together, painting a picture I wished I'd never seen. And now, here we were. Her birthday. Her favorite wine poured. Her favorite song playing softly. Everything she loved. Except me. She tilted her head. "You're scaring me a little. What's wrong?" I looked at her, really looked. The gloss on her lips. The nervous way her fingers tapped when silence lingered too long. I once thought those little habits were cute. Now, they just reminded me of how blind I'd been. "Something did happen," I said quietly. Her smile faded. "What do you mean?" I leaned back, watching her. "The way you study a stranger who feels oddly familiar. You could say I finally woke up." "Lucas, you're not making sense," she said, voice trembling. And that's when I knew. She could feel it. Guilt leaks through even the prettiest mask. I stayed silent for a moment, letting her sit in it, taste the same emptiness she'd fed me for months. Then I said, calm and steady, "No shouting, no rage, just truth. I know who you slept with." Her fork hit the plate. For a second, the restaurant disappeared. It was just us, 2 ghosts sitting in the ruins of what used to be love. "What are you talking about?" she stammered. "Don't," I said. "Don't insult me by pretending. I saw his car, the hotel, the messages. You don't have to lie anymore." Her lips parted, but no sound came. Just silence. The kind that screams louder than words. I could see the panic in her eyes. The desperate search for a story that might still save her. But it was too late. Once betrayal is seen, it never fades. She looked down at her untouched food. "So, what happens now?" I didn't answer. I wanted to, but I didn't trust what might come out. Anger, heartbreak, maybe both. So I stared out the window, at the rain and streetlights dancing. A part of me still hoped she'd say something real, something honest. But honesty was a currency she'd already spent. From another table, someone's birthday song began. People clapped and laughed. She blinked fast, fighting tears. "Lucas, please," she whispered. "Can we talk about this later?" I met her eyes, steady. "No. Later is what got us here." She looked around, like she was trying to escape. The same woman who once debated cake flavors for hours now sat frozen, too afraid to speak. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said finally, voice cracking. "It just—" I cut her off with a hollow laugh. "You don't accidentally fall into someone's bed, Emma." She flinched at her name. I could tell she hated the way it sounded now. Flat, cold, stripped of affection. I was lonely, she said. You were always working. You barely notice me anymore. There it was. The script. The shift where the cheater becomes the victim. I'd read enough stories like this to know the ending, but hearing it from her still burned. I worked, I said slowly, so we could have the life you said you wanted. The house, the trips, the safety. I didn't know you'd trade loyalty for attention. Her eyes glistened. It wasn't just attention. He listened to me. Right, I said. He listened and then undressed you. Silence again. Only the faint clink of dishes. The hum of strangers' laughter. To them, we looked like a normal couple. Enjoying dinner. No one could see. A marriage dying quietly. Between courses. I took a deep breath. You know what's funny? I said. Mark once told me he envied me. Said I had the kind of woman men dream about. Guess I should have asked which part he meant. Lucas, please stop, she whispered. I stared at her for a long moment. I wanted to shout, to demand reasons, to make her feel a piece of my pain. But instead I exhaled. I already stopped, I said. I stopped when I saw the hotel receipt. When I realized every late meeting was a lie. I stopped long before tonight. I just came to say I'm done pretending. Her hand reached across the table, trembling. Don't throw this away over one mistake. We can fix this. I looked at that hand. The same one that used to fit perfectly in mine. Now foreign and cold. You broke something. You can't glue back, I said softly. You didn't just cheat, Emma. You erased everything. Every laugh, every plan, every memory now smells like him. Her lips quivered. So that's it. That's it. I stood, took out my wallet, and left enough cash for the meal, the wine, and whatever guilt she'd drown herself in later. As I turned to leave, she grabbed my wrist. Where are you going? Home, I said. To pack. You can stay with Mark. He listens, remember? Her hand slipped away, her face pale. I walked out into the rain and didn't look back. The air was cold, but for the first time in months, it felt real. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Her name lit up the screen. I let it ring, then turned it off. That night, I drove to my brother's place. He didn't ask questions, he didn't need to. He just nodded, opened a beer, and handed it to me. We sat on the porch, rain tapping the roof like a slow heartbeat. She cheat? He asked quietly. Yeah, I said. Yeah, she did. He shook his head. Then you already know what to do. I nodded. And I did. The next morning, I called a lawyer. By the end of the week, she was gone. The locks changed. It's strange how quickly peace takes the place of pain. Once you stop fighting for something already dead. The bed felt empty, but not lonely. The mornings were quiet, but not cold. I learned that silence isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's the sound of healing. A month later, on a random Tuesday, I passed a bakery window. A birthday cake sat there, the frosting red. Make a wish. I smiled, realizing mine had already come true. Freedom doesn't need candles. Just peace.